Hey guys, this is HoardEG Beast, and I played Geometry Dash for 24 hours. If I could describe the experience in one word, pain. If I could describe it in 2 words, it would be pain. Cool. Before I get into the details, allow me to say, I was really looking forward to having this whole stream archived from now until the heat death of the universe. But much like the sand of the Buddhist mandala is all blown away after it's created, and much like Unus Annus ended and is now completely unwatchable, just like those guys wanted, this stream was deleted. Why is that, you ask? Stay tuned! Now, let's go through each chapter of the greatest challenge ever taken on by mortal man, even better than anything EricVanWilderman has ever done. Welcome to the 24-hour stream. First thing in the morning, I'm raring to go. I pack my bags and hit the road, making for my friend Spider Guy's college dorm, where I can be a noisy bastard for all day and night. The sun was just coming up as we started, and I'll be honest, I expected to be playing in silence for most of the 24 hours. I even planned on just telling stories to myself like a crazy person to pass the time. But immediately, there were viewers! For the beginning, it was a stream like any other, joyfully taking level requests with a youthful glow in my eyes. A strapping young lad playing this game for the first time in 3 years, really. I had my controller in my hands. Yes, dear viewer, I'm one of those. And things were just great. Until the incident. Amidst the footage of me saying poggers over and over, accompanied by a little geometry dash, I realized that a problem had arisen. Horrible beasts known as spammers had appeared in my chat. I didn't know what to do. Lucky for me, a hero, who shall not be named because I forgot their name, said the sentence that would change history. Make a Google form. Poggers! I thought at the idea. It's what all the real GD streamers are doing. It was time for this gamer boy to become a gamer man. For like 30 minutes, I bumbled my way through making a Google form for the first time in my life, whilst everyone in chat either screamed or cried. But eventually, I got there. From this point forward, I resolved to instantly ban anyone who pasted their level ID in the chat with no chance of appeal. From this point forward, the beginning was pretty straightforward. What the fuck? From this point on, the beginning was pretty straightforward. Here's a few stories of what happened during these jovial times. Something I forgot to take into consideration not only with the stream, but with my Gen Z life, was that fruit is essential to survive, much like in a survival video game, to put it in your language. Spider Guy was so kind as to supply a shiny green apple, which I'm certain the audience appreciated, as I know we are all avid enjoyers of autonomous sensory meridian response. Occasionally, I would go to the R room, as Spider Guy calls it, and leave him to entertain the audience for a little bit. He wasn't very good at the game, but he's a swell guy if you get to know him. All in all, it was fun. All in all, it was a lot of fun to play people's levels for 9 hours. People had a lot of really creative ideas, so I'd happily like and rate their levels, usually around 6 stars, but 10 stars whenever they were harder than Bloodbath. I know that EricVanWilderman could have beaten those levels in 1 attempt, but I'm just a growing boy. Now, to wrap up this first segment in an inappropriately short amount of time, the lightning round!
As Spider Guy read out the chat messages, people said he sounded like a text-to-speech, tricking him to read stuff like, "Your Bluetooth device has failed to connect." I was actually the one to verify the current top 1 demon, Avernus. It was tough, but I did it. I will move to Japan on stream when we hit 1,000 subscribers. The first chatter to name the year of the gold rush got their level played immediately. Spider Guy made me a lunch of eggs and hash browns, which in bad manners I barely ate any of. For some reason, I just couldn't. A dark piece of foreshadowing. I was a little sick when I started this stream, which was a very good idea. My favorite GD YouTuber is EVW. My least favorite GD YouTuber is GD Colon, ever since he said those nasty things about me. The people may forget.
But it's burned in my brain. And so the first 9 hours came to a close, and I looked outside to a beautiful sunset. For a minute I just stared at it, marveling at the beauty of nature, for it was the last time I would see sunlight for a very long time. Before we get into the meat of this arc, it's time for the loot box segment! Oh, Geometry Dash unboxing! Whoa, what's gonna be inside? Poggers! I got a few orbs, diamonds. There's this fish ship. I thought after all this time I could finally change my colors, so my wonderful chat took a vote and we ended up blue, my favorite color. Yay! Now, to celebrate 9 hours of ruining my health and 15 to go, I decided to do something very fun. Play all the Robtop levels! Stereo Madness' song kinda drills into my brain. Back on Track has one of my favorite songs in the game. Polargeist is just okay. I also forget about Dry Out, but a lot of viewers had it as their favorite level, so I respect it more now. Based after based! Fun fact, Can't Let Go was the first level to make me cry when I was a kid. Jumper is the most wholesome level in Geometry Dash and gave us our new icon, baby! Time Machine is the worst level in Geometry Dash history and it makes me angry. I remember starting to feel like I was in a fever dream during cycles. Probably less because of the level and more because of the situation. I love X-Step, but for some reason the audience hated it. The music makes me think of a pharaoh. Clutterfunk is hard as hell, but a ton of fun and has a banger song. Toe used to be my favorite level and introduces the game mode we all came to a consensus on being the worst one, the UFO. Also, it's named after a foot. Electroman Adventures has my current favorite main song. Clubstep is, we'll get to that. Electrodynamics was a huge hurdle back in the day, and it took me a good few attempts. But we had a gamer moment. Not the kind where you say something offensive, the kind where you beat the level. Hexagon Force is my favorite level.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Nintendo doesn't.
Theory of Everything 2 is the 18th main level in Geometry Dash. To play this level, the player needs at least 20 secret coins. Beating this level awards the player 14 stars, a new cube from normal mode, and the primary color site. Geometrical Dominator is tied for my favorite level because the dark part is the best part in any main level. And you agree! Deadlocked is, someone in chat told a story about how they excitedly told their mom that the new Geometry Dash level was going to be called Finger Bang, which is pretty poggers. And so I completed the 2.1 Classic and smiled at my audience, who could not see me, I hope with all my heart. After I did the challenge of playing every main level, just like our hero, EricVanWilderman did in 2014, I backtracked to get some of the coins in the first few levels until the demons were unlocked. Have you guys ever heard of EricVanWilderman? At this point, after playing the Robtop levels for a certifiably long time, the audience was getting a little antsy. Needless to say, the HoardEG Nation wanted their levels played. Of course, at this point, I had something to tell them. Those terrible words. Guys, I'll keep playing your levels. As soon as I beat Clubstep. The audience was in horror. They'd seen how shit I am at the game. But I was serious. Now, to be fair, I have beaten Clubstep before, although I was a little younger.
Really? No! No! My life! It's crumbling beneath me!
So even though it had been a long time, my brain has developed, I've done taxes, I was ready to take on the world. and so this most dramatic story arc began. After failing for a while, someone in chat said, "Bro is verifying Clubstep," which I think is really funny, so that's how I'll forever refer to this segment. However, this person also informed me that if I managed to verify Clubstep, it would be the new top 1 extreme demon on the leaderboard, beating out Avernus, which I also verified. This mission was of great importance to my country, nay, the entire Earth, and so I pressed on. Minutes and minutes passed as I failed again and again, my muscle memory only somewhat intact. The stakes were insurmountably high, as the people wanted nothing more than their incredible levels to be played. One chatter named Jeff famously said, "Please just beat the level!" I was starting to sweat. The rage gland in my brain was beginning to activate for the first time in the stream. Then suddenly, I heard a voice. "Again you fail in the same miserable spot. Is this some kind of sick joke?" It was a new chatter, with a girthy vocabulary and a menacing anime boy aura. We came to know this guy as Waffle, cause I mispronounced his username, losing my cognitive ability to read at this stage of the stream. This terrifying man went on to relentlessly slander my gameplay and get into heated debates with all my lovely longtime viewers, threatening that his darkness may be released. Suffice it to say, we were spooked. With all these terrible stresses piling up, the question on everyone's minds was, will he beat it? Or will he play it for 12 hours? And then cry. But the answer came sooner than anyone expected.
Clubstep. Clubstep.
What?
Clubstep. Clubstep.
This was, for lack of a better word, Pogalicious. In the biggest event of Geometry Dash history, Clubstep was verified as the new top 1 extreme demon, and Robtop was defeated forever. Now, with Zoink shaking in his boots, it was finally time to get back to what made this country so great in the first place. Playing your levels. Oh my god. I was very proud for getting go-go-go's and GG's in my chat, just like a real streamer. That even here at the halfway point, even if my brain was beginning to decay, I was still excited. I was still having fun! Woohoo! I'd even made a bunch of good friends along the way, like Lionel, VXR, Robtop, Sam, Charles Long, 1ET, Viprin, and the frightened Alt F4. Chat was a direly needed source of dopamine for me in these trying times. Here at the 12-hour mark, there was a great celebration where we played Brody Quest. Another part of the celebration was to open up a huge goodie bag of candy I prepared before the stream. Yippee! However, it turns out that what I was doing could be considered unhealthy. And one of the side effects of this elusive disease was that I could barely eat anything, only managing to scarf down a few caramels. Another celebratory event to keep me from thinking about the amount of time ahead of me was the auto-level movie night. I let chat pick what we watched as I tried to eat a fine dinner to keep my body running. Unfortunately, I was in deep, and my body rejected whatever I tried to stuff into it. It was time for physical weakness. Yay! There were a few other pains to power through too. I was using a terrible chair, so my back was hurting. I'd barely moved all day, so my leg was starting to cramp a bit, and my stinging eyes were framed by deep bags. Still, my spirit had yet to be crushed. Playing people's levels, I was a little more chill now, due to factors. But I still snuck in a few fun history questions to play people's levels from chat. What year was Nietzsche born? When did the 7 Years' War start? These are the ramblings of a man clinging to his sanity. A friendly chatter asked if I would do a face reveal, which I agreed to do when I hit 100 million subscribers, and that I would also meet Markiplier on the occasion. Road to 1 million, guys! At this point, a shocking development in the plot was nigh. Waffle was back, with enough witty insults to send me to a world of Christmas pain. I was defenseless, but suddenly, a voice from the light. You shalt not slander the name of our lord, Hoard! It was my knight in shining armor, Ethan! He was here to defeat my ancient nemesis. I was saved. But Waffle was unfazed. Pathetic that you should say he's my lord as well. I would never serve a lowly worm like him, nor would I stoop to your level. I can only imagine how tightly his arms were folded behind those cruel words. For levels and levels this war raged on in chat, during which we hit 400 subscribers. Poggers! Until nearly an hour later, I looked back to chat to an absolutely shocking development. Ethan and Waffle had made peace. They were exchanging kind words and putting an end to this centuries-long feud. Waffle had broke good. This was a beautiful moment, enough to bring a tear to Shakespeare's eye. Also, during this point of the stream, someone said I sound like Markiplier. Hello, everybody. I would like to point out that a certain other individual does not sound like Markiplier. Food for thought. Who's the better YouTuber? During this midpoint of the stream, something came to my attention. Apparently, if a YouTube stream goes on for longer than 12 hours, it will not be archived. I was terrified. We had already exceeded that length. I was quick to enter the bargaining stage of grief, whereupon I went on a frantic Googling spree, trying to find a solution. But everything had the same answer. Video tutorials of old men saying nothing but that it's impossible. Articles filled with ads and clickbait. Sad users on Quora. It looked like this was it. I now think that I should have ended and restarted the stream right then, so that at least the second half would be archived. But my mental state was rapidly declining, so I could hardly grasp such a concept. I resorted to everyone's old friend denial and pretended like everything was okay, and it was back to the routine. The challenge would continue. The hours continued to tick by. It was at this point in the stream, 15 long hours in, that Spider Guy went to sleep in a bed right behind me, and all the lights were put out. Here, in the dead of night, I was shrouded in complete darkness. Being over halfway through the stream, even though I was feeling my worst so far, I was beginning to laugh in the face of death. I expected this stream to be hell starting sometime around hour 5, but my overconfidence would quickly begin to dwindle. A great level I played by request at this point was Desert Bus, a 6-hour ship endurance challenge, which again caused some turmoil amidst the audience. My freedom was important to me, and I was even pretty amused at wasting everyone's time, so I really went at this level. Anything to break up the monotony. I actually made it to 5%, which by my calculations means I survived for almost 20 minutes. Big win! But I wasn't done. I began to laugh villainously. And I smashed that play button once again. The people were in distress. I was becoming a monster. Not far in, I made a mistake, pausing as fast as I could to save myself. We took a vote. Can I survive this? The answer is no. I did another auto movie night really quick, because all these bright lights and reflexes were chewing through my mind like an animal mouse might chew through the cord of a computer mouse. I tried to eat more of my Mexican salad, but I could barely take a bite, even though I'd eaten practically nothing the entire duration of the stream. I just wanted a brief reprieve from playing levels. I left for another bathroom break, but there was a secret I didn't tell my audience. What I actually did was simply step into the other room for a minute, lie flat on my back against the hard floor, and stare at the ceiling for a while. I'll be honest, my memories of this half of the stream start to get a little hazy, but I'll tell you what I know. I returned to playing levels, but there was no denying that after this fucking shit, after playing this game for so many goddamn hours, I was losing my mind. Things got quieter and quieter, slower and slower as I started to lose any semblance of commentary at all, going silent as I played level after level, each of them blurring together in a mess of patterns and music. My eyelids got extremely heavy, and the time started to pass in a dream. Eventually, sick of sitting with my back nearing a 90-degree angle on this horrible chair, I took my entire setup and left the desk, going to a dark corner in the opposite side of the room. This was actually less comfortable, but it was different, and I was so tired it was unbelievable. I've pulled all-nighters before, which is already hard for me, but this activity definitely made it exponentially harder. I was really losing hope at this point. I laid on my side against the carpet, which was firm enough I might as well have been lying on stone, and I started to play sideways. I stopped taking requests and just played a few 2-star levels, dying over and over as the controller nearly fell from my one hand holding it. I was a broken man. Chat started to feel bad for me, telling me to go to bed, end the stream, and put my health first. But I'm stubborn, and I wasn't doing this for nothing. Half-heartedly, I went on like this for around 2 whole hours, which felt like an eternity at the time, but feels like 2 minutes in memory. I only came back to the desk when my phone and laptop's batteries were starting to die. After this long, painful period, my weary eyes fell upon the window, where light was finally returning. The sun was coming back up. I had played all night, but I wasn't finished. I stared outside for a moment. Then it was back to it. Back to Geometry Dash. With natural light returning to my life, I actually finally started to rediscover my humanity. I began speaking to chat again, even playing requested levels again, but I certainly hadn't returned to my former glory. My head was light and hazy, my speech slow and slurred. It was at this point that a certain special someone came to my side to support me, and rumors began to fly left and right. "Is that his girlfriend?" they whispered amongst themselves. Me and her had a chuckle. As much as I could muster, at least. One chatter couldn't believe that a Geometry Dash player could ever have such a thing, which is an arguable point. At this time, my voice had been mostly lost, leaving nothing but a gravelly husk of what it once was in the days when I would pog at every opportunity, laugh and joke with the viewers. Where did the years go? Things started to get a little saucy in chat. Sexy anime voice. Hoard's GF is lucky. I wish I could date Hoard. The people said that I sounded like Corpse, who I don't know much about, but sounds about right. This is when I knew that I had finally made it as a streamer. An influencer to be uncomfortably lusted over. Just like EVW. I made it, Eric. But things weren't all roses and rainbows. A tidal wave of spammers had come in force, and I was too recumbent to fight back. The subset of stream viewers who begged to be moderators were finally having their time, and so I worked out a perfect system to choose one. I picked the first person to ask. Surreal made quick work of the spammers and restored peace, causing me to smile a tired, cracked smile. They went on to go mad with power, issuing warnings and timeouts of historic proportions, causing every chatter to live in fear of their supreme dictator. It was just like 1984 by George Orwell. However, I came to the aid of my loyalist viewers because I am a man of the people. I told Surreal to take it easy, and they got back to doing God's work. I think this was a bonding experience for everyone in the stream. Not to distract from my terrible curse, I noticed that I would go silent for minutes on end while doing nothing, all function in my brain ceasing as I'd stare forward at the wall until I snapped back into consciousness. I was fully losing it now. One chatter suggested that I build a level, which sounded like an excellent way to pass the time. I did try, but I think the level I built is mostly a testament to the absolute state of my mind at the time. But the end was coming. Again, the hour changed. That's right. It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Hour 23. Here we go. With a quiet celebration, there was only 1 hour left. I had been in this room streaming Geometry Dash for so goddamn long, and freedom was around the corner. Some people had stuck around through nearly the entire stream, which is absolutely commendable. The sun was shining high in the sky now. I started to think that maybe, just maybe, from here on out, things were gonna be alright. How wrong I was. Suddenly, during the celebration, I stopped talking. I started to breathe heavier. Wait, I said. Something was happening. My stomach felt horrible. It twisted and turned, and I started to feel incredibly nauseous. The reckoning was here. The consequences of my actions. My foolish, foolish actions. My girlfriend ran and grabbed some medicine for me, said to upset a settled stomach. I said, "Why are you bringing me these?" And then I puked all over the place. My girlfriend ran and grabbed some medicine for me, said to settle an upset stomach. I felt absolutely awful now. The world spinning around me. I felt sicker than I had in months. I was in hell. She gave me the medicine and I stood up, leaving the stream in her hands while I went to get a little air. I stepped into the other room, a completely shattered man. I walked towards the bathroom, getting ready to throw up. I could feel it coming. But the medicine and finally standing up and walking a little made me feel just a bit better. An incredible relief flooded over me as I felt this, expecting that this problem was about to go away. But how wrong I was. In and out of the main room I wandered, hoping to collect myself just enough to perform the task of sitting down and talking to chat. It was all I had to do, but I didn't even have the strength for that. I walked around, hoping desperately to feel better. My girlfriend read me kind messages from chat. They were sending incredible support. It was an amazing thing to see. Hearts and hearts in the chat. They hoped I would get better. After all that time we'd spent together, I felt a real connection to all of you viewers, and it nearly made me shed a manly tear to hear your support. It was a beautiful moment. I only wish I could have sat down and appreciated it. I love you guys. Now, at this point I needed fresh air. But we were in my friend's apartment, and the doors of the building would all lock automatically. We had no idea how the hell he unlocked the doors, so I couldn't leave this small, cramped space. I was trapped. Well, I propped the door open to at least walk around the hallway. I saw through the windows the rich morning sun, bathing the landscape in its beautiful light. I couldn't appreciate the beauty, however. I felt awful. Now, for the first time since we'd begun, I saw other humans who weren't affiliated with the stream. People blissfully unaware of the horrors I was putting myself through. I sat on a couch in the lobby and stared outside, not even beginning to feel better. I hadn't thrown up, but this feeling was here to stay. I'll be honest, at this point I considered stopping the stream early. I know. I had been there so goddamn long it was unbelievable. To quit at a point like this, partway through hour 23, may sound inconceivable, but this feeling of exhaustion was like nothing I'd experienced before. I considered it. Sat there seeing the sun and considered it. I waited out there for a long while, but the time passed like an eternity now. Each time I checked it, expecting to be near the very ending, only 1 or 2 minutes had passed. We weren't even halfway through the hour, and it seemed as though we never would be. So this was it. The other side. I had done it. So many hours spent in that cramped room. Spent with you. My audience. The only thing keeping me sane. This was the craziest thing I've ever done. The truest challenge I'd ever taken on. The low point of my life? ? But there were good times too. So many beautiful levels, so many fun inside jokes, pleasant conversation, trials and triumphs. I'd grown so much in popularity after so many years of stagnation. I'd returned to my roots. All those years ago I'd streamed Geometry Dash, and now here I was again, in the present day. And somehow I did it. I found an audience. This stream, it was for something. I stood from the couch and returned to the dorm. Entering the propped open door, I was ready to make for the finish line. I was ready to finish what I'd started. I wasn't ready. When I stepped back into the room, holding my aching stomach, I saw horror in my girlfriend's eyes. She had bad news to bring. The stream had crashed. I stood in horror. Could this be fixed? Everyone in chat was confused and afraid. I sat down and saw the root of the problem. The internet had gone out. The stream, it couldn't continue. 15 minutes. There were 15 minutes left. I fell to my knees and cried out to the heavens. This was the greatest tragedy that had perhaps ever befallen this world. My anguish was immeasurable, the agony unending, and so I hung my head. I asked if my girlfriend could pack my things. I was going outside. Out of the apartment where my friend was still peacefully resting, I walked. Kindly, my girlfriend packed the things. Through the halls, down to the bottom floor. I stepped outside. Just as I'd feared, the stream was too long to be archived. I hadn't known this would happen, and so I hadn't planned ahead and cut it into parts. All that footage has been lost to time. I made a statement in my Discord server and in the comments of the stream, pertaining to the ending of the stream and my continued poor health. I thanked everyone for being here for this, and I said goodbye. I turned off my phone and put it in my pocket. Then, I just stared up into the sky. Those 15 minutes, I didn't mind them. In my head, I did it. I completed the 24-hour Geometry Dash stream. The next day, after I woke up, I saw that we had reached 500 subscribers, officially doubling the count from before this stream. So I guess consider this video essay a bit of a 500 subscribers special. Thanks, guys. I feel really good about this. 500 subscribers. You know, to me, that's a big number. Before this stream, I had like 250 subscribers for a long time. So with this one stream alone, with this one great challenge, I doubled my subscriber count. Which is pretty awesome. So thank you! I'm here to thank you, audience member. Because I care about my audience. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll stream again when 2.2 comes out. Hope to see you then. Unless it's already out by the time I finish this video, in which case, I hope you are there. Hope you enjoyed this stream. Woo!
At the time I'm writing this, it's been 2 days since that fateful stream. I'm going to go take a long shower. Yeah, buddy, I'll bet you are.